And that's all we're going to play for that. Hopefully it doesn't get me that much copyright infringement. Hello, Hasmouse Users here, and yep, it is time to review the Mortal Kombat movie for this year. So, I'm sure so, if you don't know, I am a fan of the Mortal Kombat video game series. I am. I love Mortal Kombat, and I've been a huge fan, especially with their reboot stuff. And in fact, their reboot, the stories they've done for their reboot, ever since they rebooted the video game series, is some of the best video game stories I've seen in a while. Especially the base story for MK11. Which I stated in my MK11 review up top. But I will say this: the Ultimate story campaign, I'm not really a fan. But what about But then we also have the movies, and when you think of bad video game movies, this is often the 90s films are often mentioned alongside the Super Mario Bros. Movie and the Street Fighter movie. And here's the way I think. I've not seen the second movie, Armageddon, but I did see the first Mortal Kombat movie, and I agree with this. The theme is great, but the movie isn't that good. In fact, honestly, I think it's way too campy for Mortal Kombat. Outside of Shang Tsung's death, but even then, that's a very slight improvement. It is way campy. In fact, I even think it's even more campy than the 60s Batman show. But anyway, we get a new movie for 2021. And now, Warner Bros. Is involved in this because they own, WB Games now owns the Mortal Kombat series. They've not owned it since the beginning of the reboot, and I think right after the MK vs. DC. But New Line Cinema is still involved in this, as is the producer of the first few movies and the director of Food Fight, Lawrence Larry Kasanoff. But is that a turn-off? Well, I will say this movie is a lot more faithful than the 90s stuff. And in many ways, it does seem like there's fewer problems in this. But, that's all I can. So what's the premise? Well, it's basically a fault. Much like the first movie, the original 90s film, it's basically summing up the events of the first Mortal Kombat game, where Shang Tsung is intending to invade Earthrealm, and Raiden must grab a few challenges to protect the peace. In this case, Shang Tsung's trying to cheat the rules so he can invade Earthrealm without any opposition. Ties into his character, but anyway. So Raiden must find some select number of champions. You've got Kung Lao, you've got Liu Kang, you've got Sonya, Kano's in it, and then we have a new character, who I forget his name. In fact, this new character they create is one of the most forgettable characters I've seen in a film in a while. I mean, seriously, I barely remember anything about him other than the fact that he has a family he wants to protect, who's being hunted down by someone. Oh yeah, Jax is also one of the champions too. But Shang Tsung has his own group of people with him. He's got Cabal. He's got, eventually Kano joins up with him, and you can guess where Kano's going to go. You've got Melina. You've got Goro, and then you have Sub-Zero. Bi-Han, not Kuo Yang. Kuo Yang appears after Bi-Han takes on the role of Sub-Zero after Bi-Han is killed. And Bi-Han wants to eradicate all the fighters because they have the blood of Hanzo Hasashi, who, as you know, is Scorpion. Yeah, it ties into the whole Lin Kuei versus... the film starts off the dispute between the Lin Kuei and Shirai Ryu, and well, yeah, it's faithful to what is stated. If you know the games, you know that the whole murder of Scorpion's family wasn't actually by Sub-Zero, or Bihan, that is. Kwai Yang eventually finds that out in both in the original continuity and the reboot continuity. It's later revealed to be Sector, actually no, not Sector, I mean Quan Chi, and if they're going to do a sequel, they're going to have to delve more into it. But anyway, yeah, and the reason why they have Hisashi's blood, which is how they've been able to enter Mortal Kombat, these characters, is because Raiden after Bihan murdered Hisashi. Now, it's revealed that in this movie, Hisashi has a daughter. The daughter doesn't exist in the games, but Raiden takes the daughter and protects her and hides her in a place that even Hisashi doesn't know where she is. And through that lineage, it allows champions from Earthrealm to exist for Mortal Kombat, including our main character, who is a full descendant of Hisashi. Yeah. So, what does work in this? Well, the action is good, and even the action in the original film was fine. The effects are great, especially everything to do with Sub-Zero and Kano as well. But of course you have the gore. Now, as I said, the original film was very campy, and oh boy, this is a much needed rebirth. You see the blood, you see all the limbs getting chopped off, you see everything that you wish. You see people getting burned, you see people getting frozen in ice, you see arms getting shattered. This is what I love. This is what makes Mortal Kombat. And I mean, yeah, so it's so good to see the gore in it. And the characters themselves, the characters from the games, they're on point. The two main standouts are Jax and Kano. Jax is perfect. You sort of get when you see how he is before his arms get cut off and after Sub-Zero destroys them. You see him struggle to adapt to his new cybernetic arms, and that's great. And Kano, oh boy, Kano. He is funny. He is definitely the best character in this, just by the fact that he is unbelievably funny. He gets a lot of good moments. Yeah, and he's true to character too. And most of the references to the games are really good, and they do sort of hint, and they will build more on it if we get sequels, which is possible. But it's not to say we have problems. Well, the story is bland and convoluted. The writing is especially getting a lot of criticism, and I do agree it's lackluster, but I don't know, it was fine for most of it. I mean, everything to do with Kano was great. I have already delved onto the original main character, I gave credit to Kano and Jax. The other characters from the games are lackluster at best. I mean, you don't see enough of Scorpion. Sub-Zero, I don't know. He's been brainwashed in it, but never. But Bihan was never really brainwashed in the games. Kwai Yang was eventually converted into a cyberlink way. Even Frost, for some extent. The villains from Outworld, they're barely in it. Shang Tsung isn't as entertaining as he was in the original film. It's so much so they actually brought the original guy back to return the guy from the movies to return as Shang Tsung in MK11. It's true that he has a soft spot, but he's not really anything special. Raiden, I'm so used to hearing Richard Epcar as him that when I just don't see this guy who plays it as him as Raiden. You need big booming voice, and this guy, yeah, he tries to have a big booming voice, and he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. But I think you need to also have an intimidating body as well, because he is. Look, I'm just saying, it's not. I don't see Raiden in this guy, and other than that, Liu Kang and Kung Lao, nah, and Sonya. I never really cared much about Sonya. In this, and then while this is clearly based on the original game, where's Johnny Cage? He's missing altogether. In fact, they hint towards that the next film will involve Johnny Cage, but come on, at least the first 90s film had him in it. And yeah, you're missing other characters. Where's Katana? Where's Shao Kahn? Where's Jade? Where are all these characters that should be here but they're not? And the change, as I said, the changes they made to the lore of Mortal Kombat, I don't really enjoy. And it is cool to hear the 90s movie theme song return in this. It isn't. It's very weak. Yeah, I don't really care about this rendition of the theme. Yeah. So in the end, this isn't really. It's not the worst video game adaptation, but it's definitely. It's very middle of the road. It can go from either below average to above average, but the gap isn't that big. For what it is, I am disappointed in this because, well, they improved a lot of things in this. They took away they made a lot of back steps as well. Took a lot of steps back as well for this. I think also after seeing Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog over the last 2 years, I thought, this would build upon it. Sonic the Hedgehog was still a bit of a downgrade from Detective Pikachu, but still. But in the end, everyone's entitled to. I think a lot of people can enjoy it, and it's worth a shot. Give it a chance, especially if you're a fan of the games. I'd say it's worth a go. But in the end, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10 hash stars. It's not the worst. It is a negative score, but I'm not sure if I can fully give it a 5 average. It's just a bit of my own feelings. But what's next on my channel? Well, it's Falcon and Winter Soldier next. That's no questions there. So that'll be my next review. It probably would have made sense to review that Falcon and Winter Soldier before Mortal Kombat, but in the end, I'm just entitled to do what I think. But in the meantime, House of Reviews is out, and I'll see you for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Ciao.